we're going to patch you into the Jussie Smollett case live in Chicago, where you're going to see actual footage of the hate crime perpetrated on Jussie Smollett.
Hold it.
Isn't anybody gonna help that poor man?
Oh, help me, help me, help me. Somebody help me, help me, help me, help me. Shut up.
Oh, baby, you are so talented, and they are so dumb.
Just kidding. That's a clip from Blazing Saddles, one of Mel Brooks' greatest films. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm Nino, the host of the Nino G Show. This show is designed to give the American people another voice in the fight against ideological subversion, filthy news, and all the disgusting divisiveness that is being thrown in our faces on the daily. To all you new subscribers, thank you so much for being a part of it. Hey, this episode is all about the Jussie Smollett case, commonly referred to as Jussie Smollett, but he was caught committing a hate crime against himself, and now he's on trial for it. So throughout this episode, we're going to talk about what that case is, what it's about. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it, and then we'll leave you with something real nice at the end of the show. So in January 2019, when the left was pushing all that Marxism and race politics, Jussie Smollett said, oh man, maybe I can create a hate hoax against me to get me a little bit of street cred in Hollywood. So he paid some 2 Nigerian brothers to fake beat him up. But the funny takeaway is the fact that I guess America's so racist, you have to fake your own hate crimes here to get somewhere now. What the... Jeez. So the sequence of events here is pretty interesting in this whole entire case. So in the beginning of January 2019, Jussie Smollett is allegedly attacked by 2 white supremacist MAGA supporters yelling homophobic and racist slurs towards him, and they allegedly throw a noose on his neck and pour bleach all over him.
Neck.
You want to take it off or anything?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted y'all to see. There's some bleach on me. They poured bleach on me.
Yeah, he sounds real shaken up there. Look at that noose that was allegedly put around his neck. You couldn't even damn tie your shoelaces with those. The Chicago police were like, holy crap! And it definitely needed to be investigated. So they did, and they found out that the poopy actor Jussie Smollett, turned director of this hate hoax, orchestrated this whole entire thing. So the case against Jussie Smollett of a hate crime turned into a prosecution against him. And in the beginning, they charged him with 16 felony accounts, creating false reports to the police. And then magically, a couple weeks later, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx, the woman on the screen here, just drops all charges out of nowhere. And everyone was like, whoa, wait a second. Even the Chicago mayor at the time, Rahm Emanuel, so he was like, hey, wait a second. This is a whitewashing of justice. What the heck are we doing here? We got to look into that. He was right. They needed to look into it. So they called him out. And then a month or so later, they reopened the case and charged him some more. And here, fast forward 3 years later, now he's in court. So a grand jury indicted Smollett in February 2020 on 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct for making false statements about the incident. So Smollett, obviously pleading not guilty to the restored low-level charges, has stood by his initial story. Now, we can't be like the typical leftist media mob or the minute majority that are all on the internet creating all this hoop and holler, and we have to allow the American justice system to play out. And as we've seen from these high-profile cases lately, justice prevailed because a jury did what they were supposed to do in the American justice system. So remember, while all this infiltration of propaganda and indoctrination to break down the institutions of America, don't fall into any of that, because the institutions that were set forth as America is founded as being you are innocent until proven guilty is still there. Now, we can be emotionally charged about this case because it's sickening that this Hollywood actor thought it would be a good idea to allegedly stage a hate hoax during this divisive time in American history where race is a big deal, allegedly. So we have to allow the system to play out, and we have to allow the jury to make a final decision. But let's hit some major milestones of the case here. So this is interesting. So earlier in the direct examination, Olabinjo, one of the brothers, described for the jury how he said Smollett had recruited him and his brother for the phony attack. He said he was out getting mail at his apartment when his brother and Smollett pulled up in Smollett's Mercedes on the afternoon of January 25th, 2019. The actor pulled him aside and said, "Can I trust you?" "Of course you can," Olabinjo said. But this is where the case gets Juicy. So Alabinjo's testimony about Smollett's plan mirrored that of his brother. He wanted us to yell out racial and homophobic slurs at him during the attack, which the actor believed would be captured on police surveillance camera. So Jussie Smollett, being a terrible actor, has turned director in this alleged hate crime incident. But he said he wanted us to say, "Aren't you that empire? Homophobic slur, racial slur, and this is MAGA country," he said. Where do these pretenders come up with all this stuff? You know, these are the same schmucks who are tricking the youth in this country to believe everything they say, and they're all a bunch of pretenders. We shouldn't believe a damn word they say. We have to allow the system to play out here, innocent until proven guilty. But right now, from this testimony, it is not looking good. So after the alleged phony attack, Usandari and his brother, they flew back to Nigeria, but when they came back, they were detained because the police grabbed them. And at this point, the guys, the same two black men who were supposed to be white supremacists that were MAGA supporters who attacked Jussie Smollett in the bitter cold of the Chicago night, even though this is the most racist country on earth, allegedly, they want to stay here. So they told the truth, exactly what happened. Smollett's defense painted the Usandarios as criminals and liars who may have attacked Smollett out of homophobic tendencies. I don't want to get too far into it. I think it's disgusting what he did. Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that case, and I'm looking forward to seeing it because, I mean, it kind of triggered me. I do not like when people take advantage of the American justice system, or in the fact of the matter that people are taking advantage of emotionally charged times, and that is not cool. That is un-American. Quite frankly, it's anti-American. So the prosecution and the defense have rested their case. The American ruling by jury is one of the best things that are awarded to us from our Constitution, and it's going to be fascinating to see what they do with this case. Just remember this, always stand up for liberty. Don't be afraid to challenge that narrative. On the next episode, you're going to see we're going to shift our focus back to the politics in this tyrannical government. And we're going to talk about the Build Back Baloney Bill, also known as the Build Back Better agenda, why it is disastrous for us, and why we need to get involved and call a senator and say, hey, absolutely not. From there, we'll follow in, and we're going to shift into foreign policy. We're going to hit on the Chinese Communist government and also Russia's intentions with what they're doing right now when we have a paper tiger in office. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the Nino G Show. Until the next time, we'll catch you on the next one.